Title: I cheated on my girlfriend, and she got revenge in the most savage way possible. Hi Reddit. Buckle up. This is one of those stories that still makes my stomach twist in knots, and I'm the one who lived it. I debated whether to post this for a while, but I figured maybe someone out there could learn from my catastrophic up. Or at the very least, get some popcorn. Let me say up front, I was the whole 100%. If you're here looking for a redemption arc, well, keep reading, I guess. But it's not what you think. I, 29 am at the time, 31 now, had been dating Leah, 28 then, for almost 4 years. Leah was one of those people who just got you. We met at a mutual friend's Halloween party, me in a lazy skeleton onesie, her dressed like a gothic queen from another century. She had this dry sense of humor, razor-sharp wit, and eyes that could cut through steel. We clicked instantly. First it was late-night texting, then pizza on rooftops, then weekend trips and meeting families. I thought she was the one. And maybe she was. But I ruined it. The beginning of the end came when I started a new job at a marketing agency downtown. Fast-paced, long hours, loud personalities, and one particular coworker, Maya. Maya was one of those people who could charm the paint off a wall. Blonde, always laughing too loudly, big opinions, always touching your arm when she talked to you. At first, it was nothing. Just the kind of light flirtation you do at work to get through the day. I figured Leah would laugh about it if she saw us. She was confident, not the jealous type. But then the late night started. Group drinks turned into one-on-one drinks. One night turned into a mistake. I cheated. It was one night. We were both drunk. It was a hotel room after a conference. I told myself it meant nothing, that it was just a lapse. But of course, secrets rot you from the inside. I didn't tell Leah. I couldn't. I didn't want to lose her. Things at home started to change. She noticed I was distant. I blamed work. She'd ask, "Are you okay?" And I'd just smile and kiss her forehead. What I didn't know was that Leah knew. Not immediately. But she found out. And instead of confronting me, she played the long game. Here's where it gets absolutely insane. About 3 months after the affair, Leah started acting odd. Not cold. Not angry. But overly affectionate. Like suspiciously so. She'd surprise me with lunch at work. Want to cook my favorite meals. She even suggested we take a weekend trip to a cabin in Vermont. I felt so guilty. I thought, she really loves me. I need to fix this. I need to be better. But Leah wasn't being affectionate because she forgave me. She was laying the groundwork for her revenge. The Vermont trip was amazing. At the time, I thought it was our turning point. There was a hot tub under the stars. Wine. Fireplace sex. I thought we were reconnecting. Little did I know, that entire trip was a trap. When we got back, she gave me a scrapbook. Said it was a gift to remember how far we'd come. Inside were photos of us through the years, concerts, weddings, random selfies. Then, tucked in the middle, was a photo I'd never seen before. A blurry shot of me. In a hotel room. Kissing Maya. I remember staring at it. My heart dropped. My mouth went dry. I looked up and Leah was just smiling. That same gentle, loving smile from the trip. "You didn't think I knew?" she said. And then she dropped the bomb. She hadn't just caught me. She'd orchestrated an entire counterattack. She hacked my old iPad, the one I'd left at her place months ago, and linked it to my iMessages. She had every text, every photo, even the stupid emojis I'd sent. But she didn't stop there. She reached out to Maya's boyfriend. Yep. Turns out Maya was in a relationship too. They met. Compared notes. decided to work together. And they planned everything. Now remember that Vermont trip. Leah didn't pick that cabin randomly. It belonged to Maya's boyfriend's cousin. They had cameras. Not hidden. Just quietly placed. On bookshelves. In corners. Watching me. Every moment of that trip. From my half-assed declarations of love, to the way I tried to avoid talking about work, to my "let's start fresh" speeches, was captured. She had video evidence of me lying through my teeth. When I finally started to speak, to beg, to apologize, she stopped me. "I don't want an apology," she said. "I want you to know that I could have destroyed you. But I'm not." And she didn't. Not completely. She moved out that night. Left the scrapbook on the table. And that was it. Or so I thought. But then the second phase of her plan kicked in, and that's when things truly spiraled. Part 2 of 3. Let me rewind a bit. After Leah left, I kind of unraveled. You know that sick, heavy feeling you get when you know you've done something truly unforgivable? Multiply that by 10. I stopped going to the gym. Started drinking more than I should. Work suffered. People noticed. My manager pulled me aside and asked if I was okay. I lied and said I was just tired. But the thing was, I wasn't just dealing with guilt. Something weird was happening. First, I got a DM on Instagram. From a random account. Just one message. "You're not half as clever as you think you are." Then came the emails. Photos. Screenshots. Clips from the Vermont trip. Sent from different burner accounts. Always with some cryptic comment. Always just enough to shake me. At first, I thought it was Leah. But then I remembered, Leah told me she wasn't going to destroy me. But Maya's boyfriend? Different story. Turns out he was way more vindictive than Leah. And unlike her, he didn't stop at personal closure. One day, HR at work called me in. Said they'd received an anonymous complaint. Inappropriate behavior at a company event. I knew exactly what it was referring to. I was suspended. Pending investigation. Then Maya got called in. And like rats on a sinking ship, we both turned on each other immediately. I tried to control the narrative. Said it was consensual. Said it was a one-time thing. But the problem was, they had receipts. And not just from me. Somehow, every cringeworthy message I'd sent Maya was now in a shared Google Drive folder. Along with a typed-up timeline of our affair. And photos. I couldn't prove it, but I knew it was Maya's boyfriend. He told Leah he wanted to make us both pay. And he did. Maya was fired. I was asked to resign. Just like that, my career was in freefall. But it didn't end there. Someone created a Reddit account with my full name and started posting screenshots of my texts to our /cheating, our /relationships, even our /petty revenge. Tagging my old workplace. Friends. My sister. The posts went viral. One hit 14,000 upvotes. My phone exploded. Then came the fallout. Friends stopped texting. My sister said she was disappointed but not surprised. My mom cried. My dad just said, "You better figure your out." Leah never reached out again. But she didn't have to. She lit the match. But it was Maya's boyfriend who poured gasoline everywhere. And me? I just stood there, covered in ash. The worst part? I still loved Leah. I knew I didn't deserve her. I knew I'd ruined everything. But some stupid, broken part of me wanted to find her. Apologize. Try to understand how she stayed so calm. So calculated. So I did something dumb. I tried to find her. I texted her. Nothing. I emailed. Nothing. I even drove past her old place. She'd moved out, obviously. But then, About 2 weeks after I hit rock bottom, I got a package. No return address. Just my name. Inside? A single USB drive. I plugged it in, half expecting a virus. Instead, it was a video. Titled simply, Closure. It started with her, Leah, sitting in what looked like her new apartment. No makeup. Just jeans and a hoodie. Hair in a bun. She looked tired, but steady. She stared straight into the camera. And then, she spoke. I'm making this because I know you'll never understand what you did to me. Not really. So I want you to see it. What followed was the most brutal, gut-wrenching thing I've ever watched. She walked through the timeline of our relationship, with photos and clips, and contrasted it against the timeline of my betrayal. Every sweet memory, our anniversary in Cape Cod, the night we carved pumpkins together, the trip to her sister's wedding, was intercut with screenshots of me texting Maya under the table. She had audio too. Voice memos I'd left her when she was out of town. Loving messages. Sweet nothings. And then, immediately after, a clip of me asking Maya what she was wearing. It was like watching my own hypocrisy play on loop. She ended with this. You broke me. But I didn't stay broken. I rebuilt myself, smarter, stronger, and without you. And now that you've seen everything, you don't get to pretend it was just a mistake. It was a choice. Over and over. Goodbye. Then the video cut to black. I sat there for probably an hour after it ended. Just staring. There's something about being forced to watch your own betrayal that changes you. I won't lie and say it made me better. But it cracked something open. Over the next few weeks, I started therapy. Deleted all my socials. Got a new job, not in marketing. I couldn't face that world anymore. I started rebuilding. Alone. Leah was gone. Maya was gone. Most of my old friends had gone silent. But there was one person I still wanted to talk to. Maya's ex. The one who turned my life into a wrecking ball of karma. I found him on LinkedIn. And when I reached out, he responded. We met for coffee. And that conversation? That's when I realized the story wasn't over yet. What he told me changed everything. To be continued in part 3. Part 3 of 3. Okay. So, I met up with Maya's ex. Let's call him Dan. We sat in this quiet coffee shop near Fenway. He looked exactly like the kind of guy you don't want your girlfriend texting at 2 a.m. Athletic, sharp jawline, confident posture, and that calm, almost eerie composure that says, I've thought this through. I was nervous. I mean, this guy had basically dismantled my life with the efficiency of a Navy SEAL and the creativity of a horror screenwriter. He sat down, didn't shake my hand. First thing he said? You're lucky I didn't post the stuff about your boss too. I laughed nervously. You were gonna go after him too? I thought about it. He covered for you at that retreat, right? He knew you were sneaking off with Maya. My smile faded. I'd forgotten how careful and calculated he'd been. Then he leaned in and said something that gave me literal chills. You think Leah's the one who sent you the USB? I blinked. Wasn't she? He shook his head. That was me. I edited it. She recorded it, but she was never gonna send it. She didn't want to give you the satisfaction. I was speechless. Dan continued. I sent it because I wanted you to feel something. Not guilt. Grief. For what you lost. That hit harder than I expected. Because it was true. Watching that video, that was the first time I cried since Leah left. Then he said something that changed the game. Leah didn't just walk away from you. She disappeared because she found out she was pregnant. For 3 days. Then she miscarried. My blood turned cold. You didn't know? He said, with almost pity in his eyes. I shook my head. I couldn't speak. She didn't tell you. She didn't want you to think you had a chance to be there for her. She said you'd turn it into redemption. And she didn't want to be anyone's redemption arc. I felt physically sick. Nauseous. My hands were shaking. I had destroyed so much more than a relationship. I'd taken the most fragile, terrifying moment of her life, and made sure she had to face it alone. Dan wasn't done. He said he and Leah had stayed in contact, strictly friends, after both their betrayals. They bonded over the damage we'd caused, held each other up, but didn't cross any romantic lines. But you know what really hurt her? He said. It wasn't the cheating. It was how ordinary it made her feel. Like she was just a backdrop in her own life while you went off and played hero in someone else's story. That quote burned into me. Because that's exactly what I'd done. I'd turned Leah into the default. The fallback. The comfort zone. And when Maya gave me attention, I acted like it was special. Like I was special. When really, I was just another cliché. Dan stood up after that. Dropped his cup in the trash. Looked back at me. I'm done. I got what I needed. I asked. What was that? He shrugged. To watch you burn. And maybe, just maybe, grow. Then he walked out. And I never saw him again. The next few months were quiet. I kept going to therapy. Tried to rebuild bridges with people. Some responded. Most didn't. I don't blame them. Maya moved out of state. I heard she's working at a real estate firm now. She doesn't speak to me. Blocked me on everything. I deleted my Reddit account. Deleted Instagram. Basically started from scratch. But Leah? I never reached her again. Not once. I think she's happy now. I hope she is. Dan said she moved to the West Coast. Started painting again. Teaching art. Has a cat named Galileo. Sometimes I still dream about her. Not the good memories. The last ones. The silence in our apartment after she left. The echo of her keys dropping in the bowl by the door. The empty closet. But the worst dream? She comes home. And I wake up thinking I have another chance. Then I remember, I don't. If you're reading this, and you've made it this far, let me say this. Don't cheat. Don't convince yourself that being unhappy is a hall pass for betrayal. Talk. Break up. Get therapy. Do anything but what I did. Because if you don't, you'll end up like me, writing anonymous posts on Reddit, years later, trying to make sense of your own cowardice. Trying to bury the part of yourself that blew up the only thing that ever felt real. And you'll always wonder, what if I just loved her right? And